Hare Krishna. There's
Instances,
no
all glories to Srila
introduction
Prabhupada.
needed. Gopal Bhatta.
Yes, Haribol. So today
So
is
nice.
Lord Nrisimhadev's appearance day.
It is.
So I guess we got together largely because I wanted to share with the devotional community this little piece of my life. Is that okay?
It's wonderful. That's why I'm here. I want to be with you for that.
So I have these 5 prayers that were sent to me. Actually, I'm gonna just cover a little bit about this Sri Navadvipa Bhava Taranga. And there's various translations of this. It's not a poem, it's a writing. It's 168 verses, relatively short, from Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakura. And of the various translations, I like the one that was done by Dasarath Sutta Prabhu.
Yes.
And so I wanted to read from the beginning of his little booklet that he translated, because his words are so nice. They're nicer than what I could say. So he says, and I'm just bringing in a little excerpt. So he says in the 3rd book, the present volume, which is the Sri Navadvipa Bhava Taranga, which means waves of ecstatic moods in Navadvip. It's an astonishing and enchanting description of Sri Navadvip Dham as it appears to the Bhava Siddha Nayana, the eyes perfected in the divine ecstatic emotion. So it's like, whoa, okay. And this is not the Navadvip that we see with it, particularly me, where I see the material world. When seen in the state of bhakti yoga samadhi, absolute trance of devotional service, in those seemingly small in size, 168 simple Bengali verses, the position of this work amongst the literature of Bhajana Gita, devotional songbooks, he writes, is very, very exalted. And upon reading it only once, a loving devotee will not be able to give it up. It will necessarily be cultivated with a melted heart again and again. And so we know how Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakura discovered the birthplace of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Everybody knows that who goes to Mayapur. But through this state of bhakti yoga samadhi and this bhava siddha nayana, the eyes perfected by divine ecstatic emotion, he actually uncovered all of Navadvip. And his son, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he took this book and started to excavate and find all these different places. And the entire book, basically, in this 168 verses, just demonstrates how Mayapur and Vrindavan are the same. So, I guess when I get to the very end of this, I'll just tell the little story about how I found this, or he found me, actually, this deity that I worship. But I'll just start with these 5 verses that came from this book, okay? So we'll go to verse 1. I just have to move something on my screen. All right, here we go. Within my sinful heart, the 6 enemies headed by lust perpetually reside, as well as duplicity, the desire for fame, plus sheer cunning. At the lotus feet of Lord Narasimha, I hope that he will mercifully purify my heart and give me the desire to serve Lord Krsna. Pancharatna Prabhu, is my volume turned all the way up?
It's very clear to me.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Weeping, I will beg at the lotus feet of Lord Nrisimha for the benediction of worshipping Radha and Krishna in Navadvipa, perfectly safe and free from all difficulties. When will this Lord Hari, whose terrible form strikes fear into fear itself, ever become pleased and show me his mercy? Even though Lord Nrisimha is terrifying toward the sinful souls, he offers great auspiciousness unto the devotees of Lord Krishna, headed by Prahlad Maharaj. When will he be pleased to speak words of compassion unto me, a worthless fool, and thereby make me fearless? He will say, dear child, sit down freely and live happily here in Sri Gaurangadam. May you nicely worship the divine couple. May you develop loving attachment for their holy names. By the mercy of my devotees, all obstacles are cast far away. With a purified heart, just perform the worship of Radha and Krishna, for such worship overflows with sweet nectar. Saying this, will that Lord delightfully place his own divine lotus feet upon my head? I will experience sublime love for the divine couple Radha Krishna and undergo the ecstatic transformations called sathya. Falling on the ground, I will roll about at the door of Sri Nrisimha's temple. So my own devotion to Lord Nrisimhadev in this most current chapter of my life started. I collect Indian miniature art, and most of this art, that especially the stuff that I aspire for, is been painted in the 1500s, 1600s, and particularly when I can find artwork that is from the area of Vrindavan, Mathura, Jaipur, that area, during that same period of time, then that's the type of artwork I relish the most. So I participate in keeping track of the major auctions around the world. And in September of 2019, was just glancing through an upcoming auction, and I saw this deity. And in a sense, he spoke to me simply by me seeing a picture. So I said, okay, I have to rescue him. But of course, what that really means is trying to open up my heart so that he rescues me. So this deity is actually 1,100 years old. He originated in this present form in the hill town of Chamba, which is in the Himachal Pradesh area of India. And that place actually was never really conquered because it's way up in the hills, very north in India. It was never really conquered by the Mughals or anything. And so it remained a center of Hindu and Vaishnava activity, and there was a long succession of kings that were basically spiritual kings. So this deity is from there, and he is that old, 1,100 years old. And when I began to worship him, initially, actually, I asked my son to take care of him because I'm so busy and I'm not, I don't know, whatever, I'm deficient. But last the last appearance day of Lord Nrisimhadeva last year, he brought the deity over on Lord Nrisimha's appearance day and said, here, you worship him now once and for all. And so I began, and I've worshipped him daily, never missing since. About 3 or 4 weeks later, a friend sent me these 5 verses. And when I read them, I was saying, okay, this is the relationship that I aspire for. Relationship with Lord Nrisimhadeva that I aspire for. And so I read these verses to Lord Nrisimhadeva every single day with as much focus and attention as I can. So that's basically the story that I have. It's a simple story.
A beautiful one.
I also say one other additional prayer, which is maybe not as evolved, but it's still important to me. And so I end that by saying, please, Lord Nrisimhadeva, protect me from myself. And, in that simple prayer is, I can unpack that too, what is the self? Well, we all know what the self is. It's different stratas, and one self is the mind, the intelligence, false ego. And but then there's the internal self. In myself is very clouded and filled with desire to enjoy and control the material world. So that prayer also means, please purify my heart of this material disease. Protect me from myself. So there you have it.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Gopal. I'll add a prayer that I learned that maybe we can conclude with. It's written on the outside of Nrisimha's temple at the yoga pit. And it's very beautiful. It goes like this. Jai Jaya Lakshmi Pati Nrisimha Murari Mangala Nilaya Prabhu Amangala Hari. Mangala Nilaya, bring whatever is auspicious, and amangala, whatever is not auspicious, take it away. So what you've brought is very auspicious, and we thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, glories to Srila Prabhupada.
May everyone enjoy this day. Hare Krishna.
Okay, yes, Hare Bol.